Today on the show, we're joined by Jeremy and Adyn Brendan. Jeremy, a passionate advocate and voice for his family, and Aiden, a young man navigating challenges and growth after a high-profile experience at Hamilton College. Together, they bring a raw and real perspective on justice, resilience, and what it means to stand strong as a family. Let's get into the show. The following program is part of the Patriot Broadcasting Project, brought to you by the Scene Projects Podcast Network. Well, welcome into a very important episode of the Patriot Broadcasting Project. I am your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today is Jeremy and Adyn Brendan. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Well, Jeremy, you reached out to me on Facebook and expressed an interest on coming onto the show to talk about a situation that Aiden found himself in over some art that he had done at the college he was attending. Since then, he's been arrested. He has been charged with some pretty heinous charges, I would say, that are completely unfounded. And we're going to get a chance to hear all about it. So I'm going to give you the floor. Let you kind of explain the opportunity that he had to even go to this college, which was a huge deal, and how it was all ripped away from him. So the floor is yours.
So Aiden, a lot of local people know Aiden is he's a scholar. He's a QuestBridge scholar from Yankton High School here in class of you in
2023.
2023. Well, QuestBridge academic low income. Well, it's for low income families. And it's really prestigious award. Anyways, he got a full ride scholarship. That they provide full ride scholarship to go to Hamilton, and he got to choose. He had to go through a program to it. So he got a full ride scholarship to go to Hamilton University or college in New York, and yeah, it's a big deal, I guess. Aiden, you can explain, I guess, a little bit more about that scholarship if you want.
Well, the whole point of the scholarship was that it was meant to be an opportunity to help low-income students and people who excel intellectually to get full-ride scholarships into colleges, because usually what happens is that people usually excel at sports or something, and then they get in these colleges that way. Well, this was meant to be a program for people who excel intellectually instead of physically. And so they selected me to be one of the people to potentially get a full ride scholarship. And so what you essentially do is you will rank these colleges in a list, and you will go and you'll write a ton of applications for each of these colleges. I believe I put all my application work in a single document. It was 13 pages long, and I had to do that in 24 hours. So it was pretty intense, but at the end of it, I got accepted at Hamilton College. So that was a big deal for me. When I saw it, I was at a loss for words. This was a big opportunity for me. This was going to be my way that I could make it in the road and have a big thing. Because the big thing for me about college is that it just costs so much. And so for me, as a person who has no experience, no real education that an employer would look at and consider we'll hire you for, I didn't see the value in going to college at that point. And this QuestBridge scholarship sort of changed that for me and gave me that chance. So that was a big thing.
So the scholarship is not through the college itself, but a national scholarship. And then you kind of had your choices of colleges, and then it was which one would work out. Is that kind of how the process works?
They'll match you with a college, essentially, is what they do. They take these kids, put them through a program, and then you have to meet these certain requirements. Aiden scored a 34 on his SAT with a perfect score in English. So
incredible, Aiden. Congratulations. I got a 25, a little hungover, and I think I went without a calculator. I was pretty proud of that. To score a 34 on your ACT exams is huge. That's massive. This college was happy to have you, correct? I mean, they were thrilled to have someone on this scholarship coming to their school. So talk about, not just getting the opportunity now, which is huge, and you deserve all your kudos for that, but now, actually going to the school, traveling away from home to a very prestigious college, right? Hamilton College is world renowned, I think, for some of their, graduates. And
they consider themselves Little Ivy is what they call themselves, as far as they're not renowned. You look it up, their nickname's the Little Ivy.
Yeah, they are considered to be the wannabe Ivy League among the Ivy Leagues. So
yeah,
they're like just
the Ivy League's little brother.
Yeah, the CEO of Goldman Sachs currently graduated from Hamilton College.
Yeah, they have.
So for a small town South Dakota kid to be able to enter this school, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, huge.
So Aiden, talk about your experience as you first get there. You were a freshman when this whole situation occurred, correct?
I was a sophomore.
Okay, so this was your entering your second year. Talk about your experience in that freshman year and kind of being at the school and your experience up until the point when, the whole kind of drama started.
So I'd say that my experience in the college was like, I went into it like I knew like this was going to be like a liberal university where people aren't necessarily going to see things the same way I did, and I sort of was expecting that, and I sort of like went in there with a sort of position of like, well, I'm just going to have to hear these people out and nod politely, like just go through the motions because I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to focus on my education and like what I wanted like a scholarship. I wanted to get computer science and stuff, and to me like that's a very apolitical thing. So it's like I can do this, I can get through this, I don't have to worry about that, is what I was thinking. So I went to the college. I was very excited to be there. It was like a nice college. It was frankly like a lot smaller than I expected it to be. So it was like, so that was also really positive for me. And it was in the middle of nature and stuff. They had like trails nearby so that I could like get away and like recoup. So that was also a really good thing for me and for my studies. And more or less, the people there, they were nice. They acted nice. Like they smiled at you and they'd wave you and they'd be.
If they can see that.
Yeah. They have pictures and stuff. You can look them online.
Oh, yeah,
it's real nice. Real nice place. Real nice weather. It's just a nice.
So even though you knew politically, obviously, you weren't going to align with these people, being a small town South Dakota kid, having conservative values, you were aware of that going in, but you weren't necessarily at odds with people on a day-to-day basis. Is that fair?
I wasn't. No, I was there to make friends, to like open relation, to
be a college student.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like I joined like the board game club there, and we had a thing going where we'd stay up late on like Saturdays and we'd play poker. Like we had a cool time together, and that was cool.
So you weren't an outcast at the school up until the point that all the situation and the incident kind of started. So let's fast forward a little bit. When exactly is the time frame of this? This is now into your sophomore year, and if I was correct in reading some of the things, that it was a school kind of founded art project, correct?
Yeah, it was a school formed art project, a mural on freedom of speech and democracy. Crossroads mural.
Yeah, that's Crossroads community mural. I got the little thing right here. The print. Well, it was an email they sent out to the students.
Yes.
And it talked about says we're thrilled to invite you to participate in the community mural celebrating elections and democracy. So this collectively created mural explores such things as right to vote, freedom of speech as a cornerstone of democracy, respectful expression and diverse opinions, and role of elections in shaping our future. This project is open to everyone on campus as opportunity to affirm the importance of engagement in the democratic process. That's the first paragraph of it. So
so this mural was like happening like in the run up to the Trump election, and so it was happening in that context. And what was also happening at the same time was that you had the Israeli-Palestine conflict going on that had started it actually started last year. My second semester was when it started. So they had established this group called Students Justice for Palestine, and so I was sort of interested in seeing what they stood for, what their arguments, why they supported this or that. So I went to one. So I went to one of their meetings, and I sat in back and I watched. And essentially, what they did is they pointed to a bunch of like really refined websites, which were like clearly like these were put together by like well-paid organizations, I'm sure, and stuff. And so I went out of this meeting knowing that Student Justice for Palestine is just I was pretty confident that it's just a front for propaganda. Is essentially what I concluded. So that's what I got out of that. So, but these people were going around, and they were spreading their pamphlets. They were spreading their pamphlets and stuff, and they were at this mural obviously because it's a mural inviting people to give political speech. So they obviously had like two of their own posters there, and there were people who supported Trump there. Like there was a poster that said Trump 2024 on there. Like there were those people on campus, I didn't know them personally, but it was there, and in the end, it ended up getting scribbled out, which I guess foreshadowing 101.
I guess moving on, I guess we get to a point as like as a parent looking over this whole thing, it was this community mural art project wasn't properly handled to begin with. No, like they apparently did not supervise this. They put it in a place, gave everybody crayons and markers. They laid the stuff out for kids to do. Then they didn't post any rules on the walls. Didn't have anybody there supervising it. They just walked away and said, "Here you go, have fun," and then see what happened. Set it all out there and see what people put on there. And in the end, they ended up with a bunch of shit a bunch of stuff that, excuse my language, but stuff that's scribbled on. I mean, that ain't. Of course, we got 19-year-old kids.
People were defacing other people's art if they didn't agree with what the post had said.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The whole time, and then now what happened is they're just selectively deciding, okay, well, you scribbled something out, so you violated their rights because you scribbled something out. And like, well, what about so-and-so that scribbled out this or this or that? They like, well, we didn't catch them. You went to the camera.
Selective enforcement of whatever rules they had that they did not that they failed to delegate down to the people. They never posted any rules for it, and they kind of made them up as they went. I'm assuming
they sent out an email to the student body and then said it was forever, and then left it in a place and didn't post rules. Anybody could walk by that thing. Like I literally, I mean, I don't know if anybody's checked out. Speaking of which, you should check out my Facebook page. Obviously, a lot of this information is all on my Facebook page, and that's Jeremy Brenden. Obviously, or Aiden Brendan. You type those, and I've been hashtagging a lot of stuff out there, so you should be able to find a bunch of stuff. But yeah, they did not like put anything out there for these parents or for these kids or anybody walking by. And like on my Facebook page, I have a flyer, of stuff that they've been disseminating from one of the news groups that they have around there of different things that they've been disseminating, and that relates to the Charlie Kirk stuff that just recently happened, and it was it was like a ha thing. It wasn't 200 yards. It was 183. Bubba, So, but like, there's a lot of this. They just didn't do this, and then they selectively enforced it. And then they took the video. Like, well, they went to video to get him to catch him and what he did wrong, but they didn't do anything. Like I said, I show you other stuff that people did.
Well, and let's address that then. Let's address that. So, Aiden, you had taken part in this mural project. You had brought your own piece of artwork to the table. Can you describe what your art and your presentation was, expressing your right to free speech and expression?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
ultimately, we believe it was over this one. In the end,
that's upside down.
Is it upside down? Yeah. Did
you
see that right? Or did I have it the right way the first time?
It's the right way. It's the right way.
I had it right the first time.
I'm looking at it from the wrong side.
Ultimately, we believe it was over this one. Aiden contributed to this one and put the black in the, so it makes it hard, Right. Honestly, I think he made it better because now you got to stop and look to see both sides.
So what did they take offense to with this piece of artwork? I'm very I'm a little lost as far as why your piece of art there is being singled out for the charges that they had leveled against you.
So through all my research, I've been doing lots and lots of research and connecting all the dots. And
yeah, my dad has been looking more into it.
Really, I've been really researching. Like, we've been told, like, literally had a school teacher or, one of Aiden's former teachers that was willing to help us. And she's been researching some of these sites. Like, if you go to, I'll make them famous right now, the Ampersand Journals on Substack. If you go there and find that Felipe de Cruz, or Felipe de Cool. They have put out a whole bunch of journal stuff, and they like Aiden's name in there several times, and a bunch of different opinion pieces or whatever you want to call it. So we've done a bunch of research on that pen name, and we know who the pen name is now. I don't know if I should really tell anybody or whether it matters. I'll keep it secret for time being. But anyways, if you go through that, and you can see they obviously have a pretty good inside view and bias of what's going on inside the school. And a lot of these factions are all like this group that does this stuff, the SJP group. They're all right. They're all in the same building, stacked together. So I don't know what they call them. CI. What the
what? Which people?
No, the campus. They're meant to. It's what QuestBridge is a part of. For the minority groups.
Oh.
For the opportunity groups. CIF or CIF.
I think it's
CIF. Anyways, they're all linked together, so they all work together. One person says something, whether it's from this community, said something to this community, and now
okay. Well, and Jeremy, I'm going to stop you because we're kind of jumping around here, and you're showing us a lot of things, but there's not a lot of context there. So, Aiden, I kind of just want you to walk us through. You make this poster as part of this mural project, and now you had put it up there, but what really caused the stir? I mean, is this the day after you post your piece of art up there that now you're getting calls and charges levied against you, or kind of how did it all play out?
So how it plays out is I took part in this mural, and obviously I wrote a bunch of art stuff. Like the specific things that they get me for is not for the post they show me for. It's actually for what I draw on the Student Justice for Palestine poster. So what I did was that I drew, I added a backward swastika to their Palestinian flags that they drew, because that flag represents the Palestinian Authority, or it's the symbol of the Palestinian Authority, Hamas, otherwise known as the terrorist group, which has explicitly stated that they want to ethnically cleanse the Holy Land of the Jews so that they can remake it into a exclusively Muslim Palestinian state. So so they explicitly said that. So I just added the backward swastika to make a point that, hey, by the way, these people want to do what Hitler does, and that's that's essentially what I was trying to say on that poster, and that's what they're essentially going to get me for. So I go off. So I go off to
Now, meanwhile, other people had been contributing to other people's art during
yes,
this time as well,
yes,
correct?
yeah, during this entire time, everyone was contributing stuff, and people were scribbling stuff out. They were
Because it's a
adding,
community mural, there were no
yeah,
guidelines that said that you
no
can't
guidance.
contribute to another piece of art when you put the piece up there to
No,
contribute to the mural as a whole, that it was able to be added to by other students, correct?
yeah, yeah. There's nothing stopping people from adding stuff, and they did. They added they added dildos. They altered people's words, like they'd erase them, they'd
They
scrub them
did
out.
what teenagers do to things. We've all seen the
Exactly,
insides of bathroom
exactly.
stalls. There's
Yeah,
a very poor idea for the college to have almost no oversight on this whatsoever, and
um,
ability to do that. We're struggling really to see
Yeah.
the pictures on there,
yeah.
Jeremy. I
Sorry.
appreciate you doing them. You can
Yeah.
share some stuff with us, and
I
we'll
think
post them
Yeah.
posthumously onto our Facebook
yeah,
pages and provide some evidence of these
Yeah.
things. But very hard to see the pictures on the screen there.
yeah. I
So
think
Aiden, at what point are you contacted by the authorities after you have added your take on the mural?
right. So the next day is a Saturday, and I have a CS project coming up. So I'm sitting down and working on that when I get a knock on my door, and so then I go do it, and it's the freaking cops, and I'm like what? And they're like, can we walk in? And I'm like, this, I guess, why not? And so then they walk in, they look around, they obviously see nothing because I don't have anything out, and they asked me did you draw stuff on the mural? And I'm like, yeah, of course I did. And they're like, did you draw a swastika? And I'm like, well, and like, draw a swastika? And I'm like, well, technically no. And they're like, well, did you draw a swastika? And I'm like, well, you can say it's a swastika, but technically it's not a swastika. But so they're like, okay, then we're going to take you to campus security. So they do that, and so I go to campus security, and campus security, and so I'm sitting there, and then I go to Jeff Landry, and Jeff Landry is like, okay, you're going to get suspended now because of what you did, and I'm like, well, that sucks. Well, that sucks really bad, but like that's an understatement. But you get the idea. Like I felt like very pained. And also at the same time, I was also asked by the investigator to go write a statement. And so then I go write a statement with him. And again, the whole thing, when you get to the whole backward swastika thing, he's like, he makes sure to insist, like, you drew a swastika, right? And like, yeah, whatever, you're the one typing it up. And so he does that, and then I sign that, and he's like, also this entire time he's like assuring me, like, don't worry, we can get this corrected or whatever, just sign it already. And so then we get out, we get that finished.
You go ahead.
We get out and we get that finished, and so then we go in, and so then it's like, well, you gotta call your dad. So I call him, and he's like, and when I tell him what I did, he's like, what? He's like, you're serious, right? Like you're serious, but like I didn't think it that way. I think like he was like fighting mad at me.
I was trying to say as little as possible because I know better. When the cops are involved, you just keep your mouth shut. We're on the phone. I knew he couldn't talk. I'm just so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were thinking, but I was just trying to tell you to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, that happened, and so then the investigators. So then Jeff Landry, after that, Jeff Landry invites the investigators into his office. So well, before this, Jeff Landry asked him, like, are you going to arrest him? And they're like, sort of like shrug their shoulders and be like, I don't know, like, depends. And so then he invites them into the office to visit them while I'm calling dad. And then they come back out and they're like, okay. And then Jeff Landry's like, okay, they're going to arrest you now. And so I get arrested. I go get processed. I come back, and then they send me to uh, a hotel at the other end of town to to like spend some time alone in my misery.
To wait. To wait. They
Did,
wanted you to
did they take you to jail that day and process you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How traumatic that must have been. As someone who's been through that process, I know how traumatizing it can be. And for a piece of artwork and not having done what they said you did in the first place, to accuse you of the things, what were the actual charges that they charged you with at the moment?
Aggravated harassment.
Felony aggravated harassment.
Yeah, felony aggravated harassment.
And then released on a personal recognizance bond from that then into this hotel because you were obviously living on the dormitory of the school that you had just been suspended from because of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Essentially.
So yeah, he's essentially evicted out of his place where he lived, some 1,700 miles away from home, depending on which route you take. And yeah, Mr. Landry, after he got off the phone, he handed the phone to me. And I talked to Mr. Landry, and he was wanting me to prop Aiden up in a hotel for 2 weeks or better until they could get it figured out what they were going to do. And then he wanted me to foot the bill for it. And yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Knowing that we're QuestBridge, yeah, that's the thing. He knows that we're a low-income family to begin with. So,
and I feel like they rushed through any kind of due process on theirs. They coerced a confession out of you by intimidating you with the police and with the threat of suspension over top of you to get you to admit to something that you did not do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they essentially hauled him in without him and questioned him without even reading him his rights.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. So, he didn't get any rights or anything like that until it was written on that statement that he made that he signed. So really, he wasn't even advised of his rights until that point. And we still yet to see any of the videos or any of that stuff from the officers, because that should all have been taped or videoed, but that stuff not come out yet. So, and
no, and currently, have these charges been dismissed at this point?
Yes, they were dismissed in grand jury.
Yeah, they were dismissed by a grand jury. They went all the way to a grand jury, and a grand jury said, I don't think so.
There's not enough here to levy charges and to go through the process of criminally charging you.
Yeah.
So now that leaves us to the reinstatement in the school. If there are no charges, I'm assuming the school has a right to suspend you, but they would have to follow some kind of due process as well. If there's no evidence of wrongdoing, then it would be very hard, it seems, for them to levy the suspension against you. So is that the fight that we are currently in now, is to have you reinstated and your scholarship returned to you at this Hamilton College? Is that the process we're in now?
Yeah, that's essentially what's going on, is that we want Hamilton College to recognize that that what they did suspending me wasn't by any means right. It wasn't following their due process. It wasn't following the due process of law or even their own due process. It just wasn't fair altogether. And
at points it seems unlawful beyond just being unfair. I have to believe that some of your personal rights were intruded upon here. No doubt.
Well, they continue. The school's newspaper still continues to. Well, they released an article, I should say, but in March, and on Twitter, if you go back to the Spectator stuff, they still release a word article. It's like he's in jail. Like our lawyer was in court on February or trying to get his sentence reduced, is what they say. And then they make no reference to anything after that.
Well, that's libel. So the publication itself and the school should be held accountable for that as well, if indeed you are not in jail or trying to have your sentence reduced.
If people can Google search it, it's still up.
They did all of that. Like part of how they're able to like get me like permanently suspended or expelled was that they pushed this through and they got done before a grand jury could dismiss it. Well, which doesn't really make a difference, because if a grand jury dismisses it, then that means that, well, it should be apparent to anyone that these charges were just plain just made up just for the sake of the school, so that they would have a grounds for expelling me. Because if you receive any funding whatsoever from the government, which the school definitely does, you have to respect people's freedom of speech rights, whether you're a private or public college, especially if you explicitly give people freedom of speech, as they did with this mural. So the only grounds that they have for that is if I got criminally charged for something like uh, like harassment or like a hate speech violation. Those are the only grounds that they could say that they could expel me for any reason, which is why they had to make sure that I got arrested, so that then they could have legal grounds for expelling me thereafter. And of course, they want to push it to a grand jury, so that way they'd have enough time to do that before it got dropped. And then, of course, during this entire time, they continue to use their connections in the media with NPR and the New York Times and everyone else. They still use their connections there to make sure to get the word out, so everyone knows that I'm an anti-Semite and I'm the boogeyman, and that you should be scared of me, and that you don't want anything to do with me. You know,
which makes what we're doing today so important, and sharing your story on our platforms and around the world. I want to, so it's been about a year that you've been suspended. You said this happened around election time, so not quite a year yet. You're still fighting. Are you being represented by someone that's in the area of where the school is? That where the court proceedings and the battle with the school to be reinstated are taking place?
Yeah, that's where they're happening, but we don't have representation at this time. No.
Yeah, no, actually, we're in the search for representation. We're actually doing a lot of things pro se. He's doing them pro se per se. We'll call it. Dad's been doing a lot of filing and stuff like that. If you go to the court site, they have this is one thing I'd really like. I'd like to advocate for is New York open laws. They're open civil laws and open court laws. South Dakota needs to check into that, put that stuff online, because they have it's awesome. You file everything online and everything's there for the public to see. There's no questions about it. Everybody can see the case and go look at it themselves if they want and check the whole work.
Aiden, is it your wish to return to school at Hamilton College and to continue your education?
Well, that's a complicated question, because this is the college that kicked me out, and since my dad has been like doing research and stuff into it, like we've been like finding connections everywhere. Like there's like apparently I have like enemies everywhere around the corner who've been backstabbing me this entire time, and I guess to me that sort of makes sense, because leading up to this event, like my personal experience in the college was just going down a hill up to that point. Like people were sort of like treating me like I'm infected or something. I don't know. It was just I just all I know is that I just felt like depressed and terrible, like during those last few months leading up to that, and I felt like very, very much alone. So like, and now that I know for certain that yes, indeed, like that wasn't just me like being crazy. Like people really did like hate me there. Like knowing that makes me feel like I don't really want to go back. Like, as a point of justice, yes, I do want to be able to have my scholarship back and go to school and get an education. But if that comes at the cost of like me, like literally like wanting to smash my brain out, like, um, yeah, that's a tough offer.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
fair.
and there should be a way for you to get your scholarship returned to you and to be able to continue your education at another
Mhm.
school,
Yeah.
especially with the way things have transpired and the treatment that you received there at Hamilton College. So I hope that people listening will do everything they can to support this young man and his family. This is someone who is granted from a small South Dakota town, granted an incredible opportunity to further their education because they identified themselves and set themselves apart as an exemplary student. Passing the ACT with a 34 out of 36, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
A near perfect score on your college placement test. We should be putting young men like you and young people like you on a pedestal and be making sure that you are given every opportunity to excel in the world, regardless of what your political ideologies may be or just your conservative leanings as I will say, a country boy.
Mm-hmm.
We are here to help you in every way that we can. Again, Jeremy, please state where we can find out more information on the story. We're here to help this young man get himself back into school, to have this education reinstated and this opportunity reinstated because it was unduly taken from you in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You could go to my Facebook page, which just Jeremy Brendan at facebook.com.
Yeah.
You can also check out we have another page that's PYMP, or it's a
Poor young men
Poor Young
praying.
Men Praying. That's another Facebook page out there. You can also check us out on our GoFundMe page, as we're raising funds, obviously, to try getting round up another lawyer and all the other legal fees that we're going to have to face, obviously. Yeah, so that we got a GoFundMe page. So it's at not sure, just it's all linked to my Facebook page. So
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you taking some time for us today to share your story and allow us the opportunity to share this with our followers and with the world. I wish you nothing but the best, Aiden. As a fellow South Dakotan, I am so proud of you for the achievements that you reached. And I'm so sorry that you've had to go through this. The traumatizing experience of being arrested at such a young age for really no criminal activity that was done by you is it's abhorrent. And I hope that you are reinstated into another school that will support you in furthering your education. And I hope that this 45 minutes or so that we've spent talking to each other has a positive effect on your life.
Right.
Gentlemen, anything that you want to add in closing here?
I'm just imploring people to watch this case, and that people need to watch out, because this kid is a perfect kid. He's done nothing wrong. He has done nothing wrong in his life. If they can do this to him and get away with doing something like this to him, imagine what they can do to anybody else. When are we going to have a chance ever to defend our rights and our freedoms without having somebody have some skeleton in the closet, whatnot, that's going to pop up? This kid is perfect for this chance to defend our rights and actually prove a point and do what we need to do. I mean, otherwise, we're going to lose it. They're going to be allowed to censor us, and they're going to be allowed to do this kind of stuff whenever they want, and they're going to pick and choose. That's so we need to stand up and just help fight this case, because I don't know when we're going to get another chance. I don't know.
Yeah. And I just like to say I'm very thankful for letting you have us on, Mr. Starts. And I'd also like to thank you for your support and for your fan support as well. God willing, this will come out in our favor. Thanks.
Yep.
Well, I know that we will all be praying for you, and we will be following closely as this story gets out there and as the proceedings continue. Hopefully we can create enough public stir to get you reinstated, or maybe another school will come out of the woodwork out of all of this and want a bright young man like you to come and attend their university.
Yes, that's part of the plan, is get his name out there, at least to get him to another school, find another opportunity for him, because obviously he dedicated himself to that QuestBridge scholars. So,
and he's worthy. You've already proven that, Aiden. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking some time for us on the Patriot Broadcasting Project, and we will be following closely as this journey continues. Have a great day.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one, Starts.